Today I'm going to be reviewing this iPad Air. Now this is the iPad Air from Apple. A couple of things about this specific model that I did want to mention. First of all, up here at the top, it does have the Touch ID, as you can see there. So you can just put your finger on and then open it up so you don't have to enter in your passcode. A couple other things about it, does have the front-facing camera and then also the rear-facing camera on it as well. Now this model does take it's like a specific Apple charger, so it's not going to fit like a traditional USB-C or something like that. So that is something to keep in mind. As with virtually all Apple products, what happens over time is gunk just tends to get into these speakers at the bottom. So you will probably want to get a tool to clean that out. So that is a downside to pretty much all Apple products. We have the same issue with my phone that I have, and I have an iPhone, and it just kind of gets gunk in it. So if you're storing these anywhere where it's dusty or anything like that, these are going to get just gunk in them over time. Let me go ahead and go into the menu and show you a couple of things in there. This is the iPad Air 5th generation, but one thing that I absolutely love about this specific iPad is these settings right here. Now this is called screen time, and you can actually control exactly how long your children or even you can be on it and also set limits. So for example, we have communication limits on for our children, so they can only send text via iMessage to people who we add into their contacts. And then we can also set specific time limits for certain apps. We can set specific time limits for all apps, for using it in general, etc. So during the summertime, we'll typically take off some of those limits, maybe because their kids aren't in school. But if they're in school, we might put a limit on maybe where they can't use it for more than 2 hours a day, or they can't use it until after 6 p.m. So that way it ensures it's after dinner and after their homework is done, or things like that. So you can set up all of that, and it's independent from your actual passcode to get into it as well. So you just are going to have a screen time password, and then you'll also have a password for the iPad itself. So my daughter has Touch ID for her, and then she also has the password set for her to get onto it. And then the screen time password is entirely different. That's something that I set up. So that is a super useful tool with the iPad Air, probably all iPads truthfully, but I really like that about this specific one. Now, one of the downsides to Apple in general is you really have to have a different Apple ID for the device. So because if I have my Apple ID logged in on this, then she could make purchases using my Apple ID. So we did go through and have to create an additional email, additional Apple ID, that sort of thing for each of the iPads, just so there weren't additional purchases made. That is something that you will want to keep in mind with this. But overall, has definitely been a great purchase for our family.